G'day friends, Merry Christmas, welcome to the 12 Daisies of Christmas. This is day 11, there are 11 candy cane clouds, that's all I'm going to say about this one. Same format as before, just some graphite and some red pencil. I really enjoy them all. This isn't the one that I love the most. I think if I had to rank them all, this would take 4th place out of 4 pieces. But I still like it. I think it just became very overpowered with the candy cane clouds, and wasn't really much I could do about that at the point that I was colouring them in, unless I'd start all over again. But you know what? I wasn't hating it. I just thought, oh, it's a lot. You know, I was revisiting my more is more roots. So that's where I'll leave it at that. I got an interesting topic of conversation today that I don't know if you want to indulge me with, I'm not sure. But I was on the couch yesterday and I was going to have a nap because, truth be told, if we're going to get a little real over Christmas time, I was feeling very overwhelmed yesterday. Very stressed, very anxious about 2019. I've been really focused on some of the goals that I want to achieve business-wise, some of the things that I want to be doing, some of the projects that I have planned, some pretty big stuff just to have ideas about. And I think for the most part, if you've been following this journey for a while now, you know that I just kind of go through the doors that open. I haven't really tried to be specific about what I want to do. I've just kind of taken the opportunities and run with them. So I thought, a la Ali Brown, I would be a bit more intentional for next year. And it's not a word that I'm choosing. I don't do any kind of New Year resolution, new year, new me. Like that's not who I am. But I was giving it a bit of thought because I do a lot of thinking about what I want to be doing and how I think. If I'm feeling creatively expressed and these are all the projects that I would like to take on, then inevitably I think people will just enjoy to watch that because I'm passionate about it and I really want to be doing it. And that's not to say that I haven't been doing that this year. I think I did a lot of that this year, and I think that's what's encouraged me to be a bit more intentional about it next year, just so I don't miss some of the opportunities that I might want to have for myself, or I might want to take advantage of. So it's been interesting. I think I scheduled out 2019 when I was home in November. I went home for like an early Christmas in November. See my family. They're getting ready to celebrate New Year's with the family. It's so funny, side note, all the obligation that I felt about Christmas when I was a kid, like didn't want to go to family parties or functions, or sometimes you'd feel a little naughty and you didn't want to go to church on Christmas Day. I tell you what, as you get older, it's like the only thing you want. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just that homesick these days, but I tell you what, I just give anything to be a part of those family obligations again. Maybe I just want to ditch my adult responsibilities and pretend I'm a kid again, but I thought that was a funny thought. Anyway, so what was I talking about? Well, yesterday, I was thinking about a lot. Not unusual for me, but it is kind of unusual for me to get to a point where I feel super overwhelmed to where I have to stop. I started actually giving myself a bit of anxiety about it, and so I thought, you know what, let's just turn my brain off for a second and watch some YouTube videos. I ended up falling asleep, and yes, I accidentally took a nap from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., but hey, it's Christmas. So I just let myself have it. Yeah, it was just I had a weird day yesterday. Very weird day. Anyway, I was watching YouTube before I fell asleep for all those hours, and oddly enough, I mean, I've told you about these YouTube vortexes I get in. I get into some weird patterns of watching, and for a while now, I guess for about 2 months, it's been True Crime Daily, and I've been watching a lot of crime documentaries. I don't know why. I think it really speaks to that part of me that's very logical and likes things to make sense and add up. I'm very black and white. Like I like things to make sense to me, and there's just a part of that process, I think, especially like with forensic DNA and stuff. It's absolute. It's there, evidence is there. Once they pull apart, one thread that doesn't make sense, the whole thing kind of comes undone. And there's something about that process in, a criminal trial or gathering evidence and figuring out these crimes that just makes me feel comfortable. Like, the stories are horrendous and I think they're not great to watch, but there's something about the process that is just so satisfying to me. So that was unusual, and I have been on a True Crime Daily binge for a while now, but yesterday I got onto coding, which I can't even pretend to explain it. I'm not science, but if the so your computer is made up of ones and zeros or something, and it tells itself what to do. Who knows how it works, to be honest. I've watched a million videos of like coding explained for 5-year-olds. I still don't really get it, but I was really super intrigued about it, and how computers have their own language, and basically everything you tell them to do, you know, they're responding with, you know, cues and codes. I don't know. Why am I talking about something I have no idea about? All of that to say, so I went on this bender, right? And it was really fascinating to me, and I was trying to learn a lot, and even, you know, at one point I thought maybe I could try practicing writing some code. Who knows? Because kids can do it nowadays. There are toys for kids that will teach them how to code, because essentially, I guess, the future apparently is going to be so full of all this technology that a lot of jobs will be replaced by robots, which I think is something we've already seen in a lot of industry. But for the most part, I still think there are, you know, there isn't this idea that all jobs are going to go to robots. So I don't know, it's a scary thought. I'm really sorry if this is triggering for anybody. I'm just more morbidly curious about it. Like, I'm not being an advocate for it. I'm not for or against it. I'm just curious. Curiosity killed the cat, right? So I was watching it, and one of the things that stuck out to me more than anything was that this idea of, you know, artificial intelligence and computers that could teach themselves how to do things. And, you know, I thought that was such a pipe dream for, you know, 50 years down the track. But apparently we already have computers now that are teaching themselves how to do things. Like, people have programmed a brain essentially for a computer, so you don't have to tell it to do something and write all the codes for it. You can just tell it what you want it to do, and through a process of trial and error, the computer will teach itself how to do it. And I think that's already kind of something, like, if you think about Google, if you programmed a human being with all the resources and information you can get from Google, it's fair to say that it'd probably be some kind of superhuman, right? And how much do we really know? I think there is some people saying that, like, our brains are capable of holding a certain amount of memories and data, which is equivalent to a certain amount of terabytes or something. Who knows? Just picturing this external hard drive in my brain. Either way, beyond all of what I don't understand and what I don't know, one thing stood out to me more than anything, which was very reassuring for a period where I felt very overwhelmed and kind of, I don't know, like, for lack of a better word, a little bit defeated. I just felt super overwhelmed with the things I was thinking about. But the one thing that the scientists say that they probably will never be able to replace is creativity, and that there's really no code for writing and telling a computer how to be creative, how to, you know, be artistic or express itself and its story and its emotion, because these are things that even if you wrote a code for it, wouldn't necessarily be a real feeling. So I think that spoke to me more than anything, and it was such an interesting idea that, like, you know, even if in the future there were robots that did majority of the jobs that we have and took over bunches of industries, the one thing that would be kind of left for us to do was to be artistic and creative. And that just, I mean, that's such a great thought for people, I assume, that are watching this, that really do appreciate expressing their creativity and really find such great value in that. I mean, maybe in the future that's all we'll have as human beings. That's a terrifying thought, isn't it? But you know what I mean? Like, I just thought it was really interesting. I thought it was really special, and just super validating to know that, you know, even though this is a career path I didn't necessarily choose for myself, I have wholeheartedly given myself to it and all of my energies and passions to it, and to know that it's you can't replace that. There, you know, it could be 70 million other people trying to do exactly what I'm doing, but my creative expression will always be mine, and it will always be founded in the stories that I have and in the experiences that I have, and you know, the ideas and the visions of the world that I have that have been curated through a lifetime of experience that you couldn't write into a computer. You couldn't tell a robot to experience or feel. So I think that is truly special, and it just reiterates to me what I always feel like, that everyone's creative voice, you know, has a place in the choir. Some sing louder than others at sometimes, some are support, some are harmony, and I just think there's a place for everybody to express that, and that it is super valuable and kind of the thing that will really, you know, it's something that you can express that nobody else can. So there's 100% validity in that, and I hope that that speaks to you today like it did to me yesterday. If you're feeling a little down about it, or if you're feeling a little confused about it, or trying to look for some worth in it, I hope that hits you in the way that it did for me, because, you know, I was feeling a little heavy yesterday, but I'm glad to say that I feel much more renewed after having had that little thought process. So I hope you have a great day. Have a Merry Christmas Eve. I'll be back on Christmas Day for the last one of these. And yeah, bye.